Hello, fans, viewers, and listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Fight in Sight podcast. With you, as always, it's me, Braydbunch, aka the non-binary ninja. And as always, we got the main host, Timmy B. Today, we're going to talk to Canada's greatest hope for UFC gold. You know, there's lots of talent up north, but we believe that this is one of the greatest prospects. We're going to discuss Aljo vacating his title and a whole lot more. Hit it, Tim.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight in Sight podcast.
All right, our guest today was self-reportedly not a very great hockey player growing up, and thank God that he wasn't, because he's now leading the charge for Canadian MMA with 10 wins, 10 finishes, and a perfect 3-0 record in the UFC, with his last 2 wins both earning him Performance of the Night bonus. He's a coach as well as a fighter, and at UFC 289, he blew the roof off the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, stole the show at the press conference with his charisma, and literally made the stands shatter to pieces with his powerful aura. Everybody, raise a glass of maple syrup if you've got it, and welcome to the podcast, Canada's own proper Mike Malott.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing, Mike?
I'm certain. Had a glass of maple syrup right beside him. Conveniently, so it's perfect. So I think everybody was ready for that. There we go.
What kind of Canadian doesn't have? What kind of Canadian does not have maple syrup within arm's reach at all times, Mike?
Dude, I love that you just got a bottle of maple syrup ready to go just in case. You never know when you're going to have a maple syrup emergency, man. That's awesome.
Are you kidding? How many bottles of maple syrup? How many bottles of maple syrup do you have in your glove compartment right now, Mike?
I reserve the right to not answer that question, actually.
Mike, thank you so much for joining the podcast, man. It's greatly appreciated. First question, is the Performance of the Night bonus paid in US dollars when you win it on Canadian soil?
Yes. Well, actually, I haven't gotten that bonus yet, so I assume so. But that'll be paid in US dollars.
Yeah. All right. It better be, Mike. It better be, because it's a lot bigger check for us here in Canada.
I don't think it's just like a 15% coming to Canada. Like, oh, sorry, no, everything's paid in Canadian dollars now.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. Mike, we like to start the podcast off with easy questions. Okay.
Cool.
So first question, what was 14-year-old Mike Malott doing on March 4th, 2006? Around 9 p.m. if you want to be specific. But what were you doing then, Mike?
I remember that day vividly, actually. Sorry, one more time. March 4th, 2006?
Yeah.
March 4th, 2000. Well, this must be a fight night. Who fought that night?
Mike, it was the last time I believe that they had a country-specific pay-per-view, and it was, boom, Canada versus USA.
Nice. That was a sick one.
Mike,
David Loiseau fighting for the middleweight belt. George St. Pierre had an unreal fight against BJ Penn. What was that? UFC 58, was it?
I think it's 54, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize here. It's, this picture
UFC 54 was Boiling Point. I know that for sure. 58, let's go!
Oh my God.
That was my era, man. The early 40s through 70s. The second that stuff came available at like HMV or Blockbuster or whatever on DVD, I had that. I was stashing it in my room so my parents couldn't find it because I wasn't allowed to watch that stuff in the house. I loved that era. That was my like golden era of MMA. The like Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, Vitor Belfort days. Then GSP Franklin was the champ right before Anderson Silva came in. Those are the days that made me fall in love with MMA.
Yeah, man. Mike, my buddy and I, Dave, shout out to Dave. We would go to our lunchroom during our lunch breaks at work, and we would arrange the desk into an octagon and just spar. I mean, that was
nice.
Primo days, Mike. Mike, it's great.
Those are some lawsuits waiting to happen, man. You guys are just throwing caution to the wind.
Yeah.
Just asking for a lawsuit.
Yeah, it was great, Mike. Mike, I saw on an interview you said that you don't want to be an A-list celebrity.
Yeah,
but
really.
Can I ask why? Why do you not want the fame and the stardom? What's going on?
I mean, I want I want recognition for like a job well done. I like that. But that's kind of the nice thing about being like an athlete is like you're big while you're an athlete, and it kind of seems to like die down later on versus if you were at a coffee shop and Brad Pitt walked in, like the coffee shop would change. Like no one would keep doing what they're doing. Everyone would mob him and ask for pictures and try and get something from him. Like it just doesn't, it seems like once you reach a certain level of fame, you don't realize what you've lost, and you can't get it back ever. Like once you're like to a certain level of fame, you can never become like, not anonymous, but you can be more. You've just like transcended
Right.
being a regular person. And like that sounds cool to like flip on and off, but it doesn't sound like a cool thing to have all the time, to like lose your privacy. And MMA is like, you know, sports in general, I feel like it's a pretty, you know, you can obviously become big, but it's a lot easier to just like kind of fade back into being a normal person again. I feel like even like massive matters for the most part can kind of just fade back into normal society pretty well, more so than like, you know, child stars or people who were like pop stars for a while. You know, I feel like that's like a different, I don't know, it feels a little bit different. Other than like Conor McGregor, most mixed martial artists, I feel like George St. Pierre could just like probably live a normal day. You know, I don't feel like Conor could kind of do that. He's probably too big and just too iconic for that. But, you know, otherwise, I feel like I can accomplish everything, you know, make the UFC a lot of money and get eyes to the UFC and do a great job for them and check all the boxes I want to in MMA without being like a true A-list, like red carpet star. You know, I don't really want to do that.
I don't know, Mike. Braydbunch?
No, I still get it. So I live on Long Island, which has a lot of talent from like the MMA world. So like just thinking back to Matt Serra, you know, he beat GSP at the belt technically, right? But like out on Long Island, this guy, like I remember years back just bumping into him at a vitamin shop, average show, like not acting like he's anything special, right? Like, and I think that's really cool where they can have their families, they can, but I've also heard some people complain that when they leave their sport, I've heard some people warn people, like an NFL player. He was like, yo, you know what, kids? Like, if I could go back, I would have focused on school. Because once this sport ended for me, like, no one gives a crap about me anymore, right? So I think I so hear you. I guess the importance is having, like, that plan B for when you fade back into normal society.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about that. I feel like I don't have an exact plan laid out. I'm laying things for the future, like doing commentary, like doing comedy. I would love to do that, or help with ESPN, or, you know, having the Canadian connection with TSN. Like that's our version of ESPN. And I think that would be awesome. Kind of being like the MMA spokesperson for that would be sweet. I'm starting to do commentary. I've got another gig on Friday, kind of getting my reps in there and building a bit of a, you know, resume in that way. But, you know, I feel like I've figured out how to compete at a high level and as an athlete through like hard work and realizing what it takes. I feel like if you take that and put it into almost any other industry, you can be successful. Like I'm not worried about myself being homeless after I'm done fighting. And I don't live like, I'm not like a lavish person. Like you're probably not going to ever see me wearing jewelry. Like if I am, someone gave it to me. I didn't buy it myself. Like that's not really my style. So I don't blow money on like crazy stuff. Like everything I'm wearing right now is given to me for free. And that's just, I don't have any issues. But, you know, I don't care about my clothes. I don't care about cars and stuff like that. I like fighting. I like martial arts. I like that I get to wake up and do my favorite thing, martial arts, with my favorite people every day. And then I come home to my family, my fiance, and get to wake up in the morning and repeat it again. Like I love the life that I'm living right now. And I know for a fact that $10 million wouldn't change how I want to live my life. It might allow me to, you know, go to Thailand to train for a month with my fiance, or, you know, or fly some different, for the most part, like almost nothing in my life would change regardless of how much money I had, which is a pretty nice thing to like know for certain.
Yeah, that's really good, Mike. That means that you're living your best life, man. Like it means that you're living a good life. Yeah.
100%. Like that's, yeah.
No, that said though, so okay, you don't want to be an A-list celebrity, but here's the problem, Mike. You go out to UFC 289 and you pretty much run the press conference. I was very surprised and happily surprised, of course, being a Toronto guy myself, that you were the star of that press conference. The media was very Mike Malott focused and you killed it, man. You were very good on the mic. You were very confident. You presented a very proper swagger, you know. You did a very good job. Were you happy with the way that you came across and the way that the fans reacted? I also saw that you, our good friend MMA Games on Instagram tracks like Instagram growth, and you grew by 15,000, which was a very respectable growth for you percentage wise. Mm-hmm. I do think way more people need to follow you. God damn it. But were you happy with the overall thing because you presented yourself so well?
I loved it. You know, it's something I had been thinking about for a few weeks leading up to the fight. Like, all right, when we get there fight week, it's not just a fight. We're going to do a lot more media. I'm on the main card, so I'm going to be doing the press conference. Like, how do I want to present myself? How do I want to talk about this fight? Am I going to go out there and talk a ton of shit? Am I going to go out there and be respectful? You know, like who are you going to be? And kind of got there. Like, there were a couple things that run through my head, but I kind of just got there and I was like, this is fun, man. Like, this is awesome. Like, someday you won't be able to do this anymore. It's your first time. Soak it up. Like Dan Ige and I talked about it in the back, like as we were like lined up, ready to walk out. And he's like, enjoy this, man. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm excited. It's my first one. And he's like, yeah, my first press conference too. I'm like, this is your first press conference? Like, you've been in the main event. You fought Cater in a main event. Like, you're fucking Dan Ige. You've been ranked forever. Like, you're the man. How is this your first press conference? He's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, and you know, he's getting worked up for it. And so we just like got each other all riled up, and we're buddies from like before the UFC. Like, I met him when I was coaching Cody Garbrandt. His manager, Ali Abdelaziz, I think I'm saying his last name correctly. His manager sent someone to pick us up at the airport, and it was Dan Ige. And Cody was like, oh yeah, I know this guy. And he like was just working for Ali at the time.
Nice.
And fighting on like the regional circuit. And they're like, so didn't you get like aren't you on like Contender Series coming up? He's like, yeah, I just found out. Good luck. And then obviously like saw him making his debut and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, that was the guy who just like picked us up at the airport. Like, this guy's the man. And he was just like super nice and down to earth and friendly. So we've been in touch ever since and just kind of chatting every once in a while. And I see him in Vegas sometimes. It's just like, it's cool. Like, I was like some dude's mitt man and he was picking us up at the airport. And now like we're the guys on stage at a press conference. It was like a cool, like, dude, look at us, man. Like, good job, man. We fucking did it. We were just a couple of guys. Like, look at us. We're the ones on stage holding the mics now. Turntables.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That said, with your newfound fame, Mike, we have several questions that we want to see how you can leverage your fame here. Okay. Do you ever play the UFC 4 video game?
I haven't played the fourth one. When the first one came out, I played a ton, but I haven't had like video game consoles in a while. Like, I've got a Switch.
Oh, okay. I have a Switch too. We'll play Mario Kart later. I don't think you're in UFC 4, but I went to search it and I saw this video. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but take a quick look. See if you can realize who this is in UFC 4. Did you see that guy?
Yes, it's supposed to be me. I have no idea.
Mike, that is the Create a Fighter version of Mike Malott.
Hey.
It is terrible, Mike. It is terrible.
Right. Like, if you put me in a lineup with a bunch of other guys, no one would be able to pick me out as that guy, but it's cool.
Yeah. Mike, first of all, as Canada's greatest hope for gold, you need to demand that you get added to UFC 4. Okay? So let's make that happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen. I'm in no rush. It'll happen. I know it'll happen. That'll be a pretty cool day, man. I'll be psyched about that.
Yeah. Obviously, like, people will be happy because they don't have to create these generic white guy fighters and call it Mike Malott. You know,
dude, I've never been nearly that tanned in my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to scroll down a little bit.
My SPF 70 has been playing hard defense my whole life, man. I burn way too much, so no way.
Good for you. Next question we had, this was from Z Money, or maybe in Canadian it's Z Money. Why do you not demand that Venom makes walkout hockey jerseys?
Because that jersey's coming soon. We got some Maple Leaf Militia jerseys coming pretty soon, so they'll be ready pretty soon. So stay tuned.
Ah, very nice, very nice. I don't know that this guy knew that is coming, but he was saying, and I thought it'd be cool too. What if the walkout thing could be more of a hockey style jersey?
That would be sweet in Canada. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would have been cool. They need to do cool stuff like that. Next question from fans: will you be our future prime minister?
Jesus, I'm not getting all political with this, but that does not seem like a desirable job whatsoever.
Mike, the people demand it, Mike. So that's your future, my friend. Here's a question I had when we were going through researching for you. You said at some point you can't cheat and you can't fake MMA. What does that mean?
So I had with DC before the broadcasting chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the quote I gave him was I said something along the lines of like, one of the things that I like about MMA is it's like the most honest reflection of who you are, because you can't fake it once you get in there. Like you can't fake MMA. It truly shows like what you're made of and if you're prepared and what you bring to the table. And I love that because I feel very confident in what I bring to the table, and I know who I am. Like I know that I put there, and I know that if and when the going gets tough, like I dig deep and I'm ready for hard fights when that day finally comes. I also love that oftentimes fight styles reflect people's personalities. Like if, for example, you're the kind of person who someone cuts you off in traffic and you lose your mind in traffic, you're also probably most likely the type of person you're probably also most likely the kind of person who gets forced into making poor decisions out of trying to like stand their ground. Like you can force people like that to stand their ground at unwise times. Or if somebody's like really laid back and go with the flow and what it is, like sometimes that comes out in people's fight styles. And I like that. It's like, it's a cool reflection of who you are. Like, I think that's why sometimes like sparring with people and wrestling with people, you become like friends with a person, especially when it's like hard battles. You're like, oh, like you dig deep when it's like, when the going gets tough. Like I do too. I like that. Like we both do that. Like that's cool. Like you build like an immediate respect for somebody, or like you get like a little bit of you just get like a feel for the person, and it builds like quick relationships as far as like friends. And sometimes you just like really hit it off with somebody after training. And I like that about mixed martial arts, combat sports in general.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can I ask a random question? Just made me think about it. I think you mentioned you have a fiance, and I may be stupid. Is she a fighter, or like, do you want her to be a fighter? All right.
No, she's not a fighter, and fucking hell no, I don't want her to be a fighter, man. I don't envy. I see how hard it is for her when it's fight day for me, and like, I would jump the cage and get in a fight with whoever's trying, there's no way I'd be someone take a swing at her, man. It's a complete double standard, and it's not fair at all. But I'm like, I could not comfortably sit back and watch someone take a swing at my fiance. Like, yeah. Oh, I've also been training for 20 years, and she's never trained. So like, there's definitely part of that where it's like, no, I've been preparing for this for 2 decades. But yeah, no, I hell no. Do I ever want someone trying to fight my
I did see, Mike, that said, I saw that you posted, I think it was a Valentine's Day photo of you with your fiance, and she was holding a cat.
Oh, yeah.
And Mike, you did not mention the cat's name, which was very disrespectful.
Oh, my bad. That's her cat, Kiwi. So, yeah. That's her cat, Kiwi.
Shout out to Kiwi on the podcast, Mike. That's good. Mike, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Like, again, you're a huge star leading the Canadian charge. I really do feel, going back to that UFC 58, now we have enough Canadians, we could do another pay-per-view. We could do a Canada versus USA pay-per-view, and we could line it up. Like, you had all the fighters that were there that weekend. You had the 6 fighters. Then you add Jillian Robertson, you add Malcolm Gordon, you add Lupe Godinez, you add, all the other Canadian fighters. You could round out a pretty decent card, and our talent level is there, man. Like, we have the talent. It's there. It's ready to go.
We should run 6-0. That clearly shows against legitimate opponents. We weren't, nobody had easy fights. Everyone had tough opponents. Yeah. And we showed we're ready to shine on the world stage.
Yeah, it was a great one, man. And I know in your post-fight interview, I think someone shot you down when you were like, "Oh, we went 6-0. That's the first time anyone's done that, right?" And Mike, I'm pretty sure that guy was wrong. I don't think a home country has ever gone on a perfect record in their home country. I think that's what you were trying to say. Like, it's not that has a country ever gone 6-0. Sure, they might have, but not on home soil. Like, that was crazy. That was beautiful.
Yeah, no, that was pretty sweet. And James Lynch, my buddy, shut me down hard on that one. That was hilarious. But yeah, no, it was. I regardless of whether it's happened before or not, man, that was a pretty special night. I'll remember that one for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man. Mike, promise me one thing: no more Apex shows for you.
Dude, I'm down.
No more.
If I don't ever have to fight outside of Canadian stadiums, that's like, I'm super down for that. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
They could call me when you come home, man. You're coming back here 2-3 times a year. Guess who wants to fight 2-3 times a year? Give me a call, man. I'm around.
Yeah. No, Mike Malott, when you see like the reaction that you got, which was insane, right, in the crowd. And of course, that's a hometown crowd, but it doesn't matter. Now you've set yourself up. The people know who you are. Big premium spot on that pay-per-view card. You were the Canadian main event, right? You were the last guy. You're the Canadian main event. From here on out, Mike, no more Apex cards for you. I don't want to see that. I want the crowd buzz. I want the enjoyment. I want the emotion that I feel like you fed off of.
I love it. I love the crowd. It adds some pressure, but I like that. Makes the stakes a little higher. Don't get me wrong. It was fun fighting at the Apex. The Apex is kind of cool. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you think you can beat my ass? Why don't you bring your friends? I'll bring my friends. We'll meet in a warehouse. We'll just think that's kind of badass, especially when the whole COVID thing was happening. It's like a little bit eerie too, because there weren't many fans. So it was just like silent. And I kind of liked that in a way, but I missed the fans. Like when I went back and fought Mickey in that stadium, I was like, oh dude, I need to be fighting in front of fans. This is so much better. Like getting a submission, knocking somebody out, guy face plants, and just hear like 20,000 people roar. I need that. That's a sweet drug right there.
Yeah, man, definitely. I apologize. I think there is a little bit of audio lag or video lag, so I apologize. Hopefully it's coming through okay for you, Mike, and sorry for the fans watching. But Mike, I do have one last question to ask you, if you don't mind. I apologize. Thank you so much for spending the time, man. Last question I want to ask you. We've been asking every guest that we have on. We've been getting some varying answers and different answers. It's a question that my mother used to ask me every day growing up as a child, Mike. So I'm going to ask it to you. Mike Malott, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life by like a considerable margin. And I feel like every year since about 21 has gotten better. I feel like every year since being 21 has been the best year of my life. And this year is no exception. This year is definitely better than last year. I think I'm pretty close to a 10 out of 10. Like there's not much in my life that I would change, and gives me confidence going into fights. Like no result of a fight could really change how happy I am. It can only improve. I get to like I said, I wake up every day. My favorite thing is martial arts. I get to wake up knowing I get to push myself and learn new things and refine that even more. I go meet up with my coaches who are some of my best friends and the people I'm closest with in the world. And same with my training partners. I get to go test myself against them and play fun MMA games and come home and see my family and see my fiance, like hang out with my dog, hang out with her cat. Like we're buying a house, we're moving in together in a beautiful, small, quiet town. Like I fucking love my life, man. I don't know what is. I'm about as happy as I think anybody can get.
That's awesome, Mike. I'm so glad to hear, man. You seem like the nicest dude. Before we let you go, is there anything that you want to say to the fans, viewers, and listeners of the podcast, Mike?
No, man, stay tuned. Hopefully have some fight news here in the next month or two. I'm trying to fight one more time before the year's out. Hopefully October, November, December. Hopefully UFC's coming back to Canada, maybe Toronto, Scotiabank Center. Fingers crossed. Another show for you guys.
Nice, Mike. And I'll let people know that on Instagram, you are at Michael Malott. And then also we were talking before the podcast started, you do have an OnlyFans. Are you still doing that? And people can sign up for that. What's your handle there? Or how does that work?
Actually, it'll be linked in my bio on Instagram. I don't actually know what the if there's like an @ for that or what it is. We're just getting it started pretty much now that the fight's over. Nice. And there's not going to be anything naked going on there. It's just going to be MMA. It's just going to be PG stuff and fighting.
Why do you keep winking when you say that?
I'm not, dude. Eyes wide open. It's not going to be anything weird. Just an MMA page. Chill.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not one of those OnlyFans. It's one of the MMA ones.
Okay. For those on audio only, he's blinking a lot. So just
blinking, man. It's serious. I'm super serious right now.
All right, Mike. Braydbunch, anything you want to say before we let him go?
No, just you're clearly very chill. I love that you gained a lot of fans. I have a feeling it's going to keep happening. I guess my one question is, I like to ask people this. If you were to watch another organization or combat sport besides the UFC, which would it be?
Probably love watching ADCC. That like every 2 years, just the best guys in the world absolutely battling it out for like 5 gold medals. It's so sick. That'd probably be my top one.
You know, I wasn't expecting that, but I love that. Yeah. Awesome.
That's a good answer. All right, Mike.
Thank you.
We will let you go, my friend. I'll get back to drinking some maple syrup in your honor for the remainder of the podcast. Anytime you want to come on to promote something, Mike, please do come on. And we do hope that you come on again in the future. Best of luck in your future. Keep leading Canada for me, my friend. And awesome. We'll be supporting you all the way.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. There is proper Mike Malott.
I might have to pick up one of those hockey jerseys when they're ready.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mike Malott came on last minute, because he just won 2 weeks ago. I had been trying to get this dude on for quite some time, so I really appreciate him coming on. If you're watching the podcast because of Mike Malott, thank you so much for joining. Please do follow and subscribe to us on all the socials and everything you'll see down below. Ring the bell, leave likes and comments, do all that stuff. What a cool dude, right?
And you know what?
So confident.
I wish we could have asked him a little bit more about coaching. He said coach. Right?
He coaches a lot. He actually, I didn't want to ask things that like you can see on other interviews. Like you want to know his history of his nickname or blah, 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 right? There's a whole, crap. I did forget one question, which was, does he demand sponsorship by Proper 12 due to his nickname? Then that's from our friend, Matt Queso-Padilla. I should have asked that shit. Sorry, Matt. But I don't want like asking the questions that everyone asks. Like, if you want to know how he felt when the glider thing or when the railing smashed, go watch his interview on MMA Hour, right? He talks about it there. So I try to like make sure that we ask random stuff or things that like kind of go outside the norm. His answer to the happiness question, beautiful.
Yeah.
Good answer there, right?
And you know what? I'm surprised by the ADCC response.
Yeah.
Right? Which shows like we've talked about this. True martial artists really do enjoy watching grapplers go at it,
Yeah. Can I tell you? Oh, that reminds me. Okay, did we talk on this podcast about how I had said on ONE FC when they had that grappling match and then it went to a 10-minute draw?
Yeah.
And I was like, they should just strip him of the belt. Like, no, it wasn't a draw. It was he won, but won by decision in 10 minutes in a grappling submission only fight. So it's like, I thought, hey, just strip him of the belt. Like, it's stupid. He couldn't even submit this guy in 10 minutes. Like, then you shouldn't be champion either. And then fight again for the belt, you know?
Yeah.
So I left that comment somewhere. Like, they wrote something, some post, and I wrote it. And I woke up this morning to some guy like chirping at me on it. Hold on. And then it was so funny though. Like, he got so mad at my comment on that. And then
people get by your comment.
Yeah. Oh, they get really mad, man. Hold on. Where the hell is it? Let me see if I can find it. But he wrote something and he's like, that's so stupid. What a casual answer, blah, blah, blah. And then I wrote back and I said, well, what do you not agree with? Because, you're putting this card in the placement in the main event. It's like, it's blah, blah, blah. And then he writes back, he goes, no, you got some good points there, man. And I was just coming in hot. Sorry about that. I was like, okay. So I love when people like change their mind. But yeah, I mean, like the fact that he watches that. But no, he's a coach. So Mike Malott talks about it. He was fighting and then took a long break because he went into coaching and he lost the passion for it. And so he was coaching a lot, and he coaches Andre Feely, which I think he's going to be in Andre Feely's corner in London, UFC.
Nice.
But yeah, and then he was coaching, and then he reignited his passion. Boom, here he is, wins the Contender Series, gets on UFC, 3 fights, 2 bonuses, 10 wins, 10 stoppages. If you've been following this podcast at all, Timmy B loves his stoppages and his finishing rate percentage. This dude is hitting 100%.
That's great.
So you can't get better than that. Yeah, and sorry for the audio lag. Were you seeing him have a lag, like between his mouth moving and his speaking?
At random points.
Oh, okay. I saw it. It may be hard for me to make reels out of this because if his mouth's not matched up, it may be tough, but I'll do what I can. Brady Bunch, next week on the podcast, we have Ringside Rain Cruz. She's a young Filipino female announcer, and she is now the official announcer for UNF, Up Next Fighting in California. She is their amateur show announcer. So Ringside Rain next week. I've been a fan of hers forever. She did a guest spot at WWE SummerSlam years ago. She announced a match there. And she normally does wrestling events, but she's finally in MMA with Up Next Fighting. There's a show coming up, so we've got her on the podcast. Just talk to her about freaking announcing and how she got into that and what's the passion there. So she should be cool.
That's dope.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for that. Friends of the podcast update, I do want to give a shout out, of course, to RageWorks Podcast Network. That's RageWorksNetwork.com. We're on their network, and we thank them. If you want other audio podcasts, go check them out at RageWorksNetwork.com. I think in the next week or so, Brady Bunch, we have a new sponsor coming on. So I'm very excited for that. Give a shout out to them right now. They are called Magic Mind.
Yes.
I don't really know too much. I mean, I have the promo sheets and stuff like that, but Brady Bunch, you read into it. What is it?
So Magic Mind is it's like a mixture of different ingredients. A lot of them I have tested out before individually. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I believe it's supposed to really just like help energize you, keep you focused.
Yeah.
It's almost like neurotropic in a way. So I'm really excited because I do know that some of the ingredients in it and some I need to do more research in definitely seem to work. So with this mixture, And
so what we're going to do is the first podcast where we talk about it, it will be where we've taken it for 3 days and we're doing like a 15-day thing of it.
Yes.
And so we're going to report back to you guys, the viewers and listeners, of like how it's making us feel. I'll tell you, Brady Bunch, I am unfocused and I'm drained out right now in life in general. I just feel very blah. I can just sit a whole day and not like be motivated to do anything. So I am interested in this product to see if it kind of fixes me a little bit, you know? I need motivation. I need something. I'm like, this podcast is what's, you know, at least I have this, and then of course my beautiful wife and my 2 cats, but it's just my overall, I just feel like I'm down a little bit. So I want to see if this helps me. So I'm very glad for the partnership. And
you know what? I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but at the moment in the US, there's technically an Adderall shortage, right?
Okay.
And I am diagnosed with ADHD. And I've been out of my prescription. So I've been very unfocused lately. So I'm hoping this could be something that, you know, maybe falls in for that. And then when we have it, obviously we'll have codes and stuff like that so people can buy it and purchase it. I don't know if there'll be a discount code or whatever attached to us, but go check out Magic Mind. Just search it up and you'll see it. And then, but once we start doing it, we'll put it in the show notes and all that. That's crazy. So Braydbunch, that's a conspiracy just waiting to happen though, right? A shortage of a medication that people need. That's a conspiracy for sure. Yeah, that's fucking, that's not staged at all. All right, we've got a couple of things to talk about. We're doing good on time. One quick thing I'll talk about before we get to the main topic on PFL had an event last weekend, and I put this up on my story. I don't know if you saw this. 3 girls that won: Julia Budd, Larissa Pacheco, the one that beat Kayla Harrison, and Aspen Ladd. Yeah. They all won their fights. PFL. How much money did those 3 women make, Braydbunch? Julia Budd, Larissa Pacheco, and Aspen Ladd. No, I don't want you to cheat. I saw you trying to cheat there on the screen. Oh.
How much money? What?
Was that the answer on the screen?
No, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm not telling you. How much money do you think they made each?
So I saw the 3 samples, right?
Okay, so the 3 samples, I said 20 grand each.
Yeah.
100 grand combined, or 100 grand each.
So just knowing that, I feel like you love to hate on PFL.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the low end there. 10 or 20 grand each.
20 grand each?
Yeah.
Braydbunch, I do hate on PFL a lot, although I have their cards and I'm waiting for those babies to grow in value. Braydbunch, I do hate on them, but in this case, I'm hating on them because they paid those 3 girls 100 grand each.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Braydbunch, if I put those 3 girls in front of you in a random lineup, could you pull any of them out of a lineup? Aspen Ladd, maybe.
Yeah, so pull out, and come on, Pacheco's pretty unique looking.
But I mean, no offense, but if you put, aside from Aspen Ladd, who has UFC credentials,
yes.
Okay, if you put the other 2 girls in front of normal fans of MMA, of combat sports, I don't know that you necessarily are going to know who those girls are. No offense.
That's true.
But for PFL to pay them 100 grand each on a card that nobody's watching, not on a pay-per-view, fuck, I don't know how they're making this money. It's crazy. Yeah. Good for them. Like, fuck, get all the money you can. Good for you.
I hope PFL's listening. Trans division. You guys need one.
Yeah, how about a podcast, an official podcast, PFL? Don't you need an official podcast? I'll promote the shit out of PFL. Crazy that they're paying them 100 grand each. That is, whew. They weren't even the main event. I don't think. I don't know. How would I know? I didn't watch the card, but 100 grand each.
That's awesome.
Jesus, yeah. I mean, that's crazy. All right. What I want to talk about is, oh wait, hold on. So I forgot my banners. So here we go. PFL going bankrupt. Okay, we just talked about that, right? Next thing is the greatest BFF of all time. The award goes to Aljo Sterling. He has to be the greatest friend of all time if this guy is going to fucking vacate his title. Here he is on a Sportskeeda. He's quoted as saying, "Win or learn, this is probably my last fight at bantamweight. Even if I were to learn," meaning lose, "and I didn't get my hand raised, It damn sure ain't because of Sean O'Malley running me out of the division. It's more of this shit is getting old, man. It hurts. And so he's referencing, of course, like the weight cut.
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit, I call. He did not look bad at all in his last weight cut. Like, he didn't look crazy drained or whatever. He's the champion of the division. He's making pay-per-view points. He's going to be headlining pay-per-views. He's not a huge bantamweight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think this dude is massive for the division.
Yeah, no.
We all know you're going up because you don't want to fight Merab. And I get not fighting Merab. But you cannot leave a division that there's still plenty of good fights for you to have. You know, Chito Vera, other people, Dominic Cruz, whoever. There's still fights to be had. You've only fought, aside from Peter Yan, you've only fought the other top guys once. So you at least have a second fight with a few of them. Braydbunch, what do you think? Greatest friend ever, or do you believe that he is leaving because the weight cut is getting too hard?
I don't know. You know what? It's hard for me to talk about this being from Long Island. I'm a little too close to this kid. So is it that he's such a good friend? I don't think so. Do I believe that maybe the weight cut could be part of it? Maybe. I think
Aljamain Sterling, to be fair, he's 33 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's like that crazy old that the weight cuts are killing him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not mid-30s plus, maybe you could say that. But I mean, he's still 33, still in his prime.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, did you see how he ballooned up? You see that post about him ballooning up after his cut?
No.
So, like, I could relate in the sense that when I re-added carbs after my last, like, horrible cut, I literally was so ballooned, like, 2 days after, that I think literally by my eye, there were, like, almost, like, some capillaries bursting, right? Because, like, all that sodium, all that water came back so quick.
All the gluten.
Yeah, right? And it was annoying as hell, and I was sluggish, right? So part of me, I remember just thinking, like, how great would it be to just walk around, like, at a slightly higher weight, not having to do the cut, feeling healthy. So I'm not going to write it off completely. I do think that, is it being a good friend? I think he's trying to avoid an awkward situation of fighting someone who will probably beat him from his own camp. I don't think it should be viewed off as just a purely friend-like thing, right?
No. First of all, I don't think he should fight his gym mate, right? Like, I don't think you have to do that. I just find it weird. I think that there is pressure coming from other people that are saying, you've got to move off now. And it's like, why should he fucking move off? He's the champion of the division. He's getting pay-per-view points. He's going to go up to what's after bantamweight? Featherweight. No. Yeah, featherweight. Is he a top contender at featherweight? Like, at the worst, Aljo should beat Sean O'Malley, then challenge for the featherweight title.
I like that idea. Yeah.
And if he wins it, then vacate. But you're just going to vacate your title and then go up to featherweight. You wouldn't get a title shot then, because that would be stupid. They'd be like, "What? This guy's not even champion. Why does he get a title shot?" So he's just going to go up and just randomly insert himself into the featherweight fights? Like,
yeah, no,
it just seems so stupid. Like, the guy's going to give up so much money, and then if he were to lose, what if he goes on a losing streak in featherweight? Does he then go, okay, well, fuck, I'm coming back now, and now Merab, you go away? Like, what?
Sometimes
you can't do this.
Could it also be that, like, sometimes I wonder how much of all the crap we see in here is real? Like, could all the hate that Aljo got and the anti-Dana stuff and, like, like, could he really be in on all of this? So maybe Dana's like, listen, Aljo.
He
sell for the organization. We got to create some fucking storyline.
But he even said that, though. But he said that in a quote. He said, "Hey, Dana, if you want me to be the bad guy, just tell me to be in on it." There was a quote about him saying, like, "Is there something going on here? Tell me, and I'll play my part." No, I don't think so. To me, it seems like it's really like just people are pushing him out of his own fucking division.
Did you see, by the way, he's been driving that leased car that Dana gave him?
No.
I saw a post, like, he's driving some really souped up car at the moment. I hear Dana's letting him use it. That made me wonder, like, what's going on? What conversations have been happening lately?
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. So on that same post that I was showing on Sportskeeda, I've been getting into massive fights with people because I said, I've just been getting into massive fights on this post because I posted something I posted saying this is the dumbest move he could ever make. It's a really bad decision. He didn't look bad the last weight cut. He's got plenty of contenders making pay-per-view points as a champion. He's being bullied to leave the division and making up shit to make it seem like it's his choice. Like that's generally my feeling / yes, I'm trolling a little bit for engagement on someone else's post. So I mean, what the fuck am I doing this for? But people came at me hard. You're clearly new. You're a casual. The weight cuts are harder the older you get. Yeah, but he's 33.
Yeah.
Fucking casual.
Not Roy Jones, right?
Yeah. Like who is this guy? Don't listen to this nonsensical guy. DC went to light heavyweight so Kane could fight for the heavyweight title. Yeah, DC wasn't champ at the time, you dumb fuck. Yeah. Right? Like, there's a big difference. And DC isn't a heavyweight. Like, look at DC's body type. He's obviously not a true heavyweight. You know what I mean?
Well,
well, I mean, he is, but you know what I mean? Like, it's the same as, like, when we talk about the guy that slaps his belly in Bellator. Big Country, Roy Nelson, yes. Right? People always said, like, this dude's not a heavyweight. If he just committed to losing weight,
yes,
he could be a light heavyweight at the least. So anyways, yeah, no, people were coming at me. You have a podcast about fight insights, and yet your insight is close to zero. You dumb fucks. But no, and then I kept saying, I go, no, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, if you're Aljo's manager, okay, so if you're Aljo's manager or you're his family member, there's no way you would be telling him, yeah, just abandon the division. Yeah. You'd be like, fuck, keep getting that money while you can, because you could get injured tomorrow. Remember, this is a guy that had spinal surgery and all that. Your career could be over tomorrow.
That's true.
You take all the big money fights you can, at least go up and fight featherweight for the title, go title for title, and then do that. I mean, geez Louise, do not give up these paydays, Aljo. If you're the manager, I can't believe you'd be all agreeing for him to move up in weight class. It's crazy. I don't know.
Makes you wonder who else his manager manages.
Well, yeah, like, does his manager manage Merab, you mean?
Yeah, right?
But then again, then you got to look at who's in your corner, man. Like, yeah, then there's massive conflict of interest if that's the case. Like, that just no sense.
See, I also, I'm just so against giving up a belt unless you're retiring, right? Like,
yeah, of course. If you're retired, yeah, of course.
Right? I use that belt with dignity, right?
Here's what you do. You know what you do? You say, fuck it, I will fight Merab, right? You headline a pay-per-view, friend versus friend, whatever. And then when the fight starts, he just falls to the ground and taps. And you collect your money, you fuck everybody over. Right? Like, I mean, that would be the craziest thing of all time.
His biggest booze yet.
Yeah. Maybe not. I mean, this guy gets booed a lot. Maybe they would appreciate the ridiculousness. It's just crazy. I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see how that is a smart move. Yeah.
You know what, though? Maybe, like, I'll just throw one thing out. Because the difference in weight class isn't too much of a gap, right?
Sure. The 10 pounds, yeah.
Maybe, like, we just don't know. Because, like...
You don't know what?
So, like, studies show when you have, like, a certain percentage of hydration in your body, tied to, like, your strength and performance will be cut down by this much, right? And if you don't rehydrate by the right... Like, so, yeah, like, a bad weight cut can make you weaker, fuck with your performance. Even, I think, a good weight cut, meaning done right, but, like, too much of a cut, impact your performance. So maybe behind the scenes, people in his camp are literally like, yo, he moves faster, he punches harder just by weighing in this more, right?
Like, just don't cut, just go in natural, see how well you can perform. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know what, now that I look at it, okay, I look at the top 15 in featherweight. You've got Nathaniel Wood, Edson Barboza. Okay, nobody should ever fight Edson Barboza. Dan Ige, speak of the devil, Bryce Mitchell, Giga Chikadze, Calvin Kattar, Korean Zombie, Brian Ortega, Ilya Tupuria, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, Yair Rodriguez, Max Holloway, Alex Volkanovski. I don't know. Maybe a bunch of those guys he can beat. Fuck it.
Yeah, but you know what?
But he still shouldn't go up and then just fight some random.
Yeah.
You have to bring the title with you. You go champ versus champ.
Yeah, imagine Volk collecting, like, going up and down all these weight classes, collecting all these.
No. Hold on. Volk went up to fight Islam.
Yes.
So he should be respectful and go, okay, I will fight Aljo. Let Aljo come up and fight me at my weight class. So give Aljo the chance to win that title. And then if he loses, you can drop it and away you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't just fucking vacate this title, win, lose, or draw. Like, it would be crazy. Unless his contract is like for millions, which I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Crazy. All right. Well, I think that's all we have. Yeah, we had a few other things, but nothing crazy. Anything that you wanted to talk about before we go? We're good on time.
Just I'll plug some of what I'm getting myself to. I'll be heading to a bare knuckle tryout. It looks like July 9th for a certain organization. I'm not going to say which one yet. And as you know, Timmy, I'm in talks with another very popular organization. So I'm hoping I impress at this tryout. I'm training.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. So yeah, I hope I have some good news to share with that in the near future.
Nice. The fans of Fight Insight are excited. The fans for Braydbunch. Are you conditioning your knuckles yet? Are you?
So you know
stuff.
Probably not the right way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I have been conditioning my knuckles.
All right. I sent you that thing, right? I sent you something recently about doing the thing for the micro fractures or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. I sent you some unscientific stuff. But yeah. All right. Well, congratulations. Good luck. When is the tryout?
I think it's July. So
it's
coming up.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really close. Okay. Excellent. And are you going to film stuff and put that on your socials?
Without a doubt. In fact, part of why I'm excited, it sounds like they're going to be filming tons of stuff and posting it all over their socials too. So
nice.
Whether or not I make the final cut, I'm still going to get some nice attention, get some nice sparring in, some drill in. And also, part of me is really curious to see just what a bare knuckle tryout's like, you know? It's a good experience.
You should hit up our former guest, Robert Desharnais.
Yeah.
And then just ask him, because he did the bare knuckle tryout with BKFC. Yeah. And so he's done one. So you should ask him and see what he would suggest. Like ask him what he would recommend.
And you know what? Part of me was even debating, I'm going to try to speak to, this is the promoter I've been talking with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of me was going to be like, hey, I know a Canadian, right?
Oh yeah. This dude is asking for fights all the time online, like Robert Desharnais.
Yes, right.
Shout out to Rob. He's been asking all the time.
So yeah, and I forgot what part of Canada he's in, but probably not
Calgary.
Yeah, I think that's the East Coast, right?
No, it's West.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
It's not. Whatever. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
No, nobody knows. There was another post I was getting into fights with people about. It was Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
You know how he competes in BJJ?
Yeah.
Right? Yes. And he's training. And so there's a post of him training with Darth Rigatoni, Mike Mushemi or whatever from 1FC. And he's training with Mike Mushemi in jiu-jitsu. And we know that Zuckerberg has fought in competitions and he's doing well, presumably. I mean, fuck, if you're any kind of martial artist that is putting in the work and actually out there competing, huge props to you. That's like what you said in our last podcast, right? Like if you've been competing, hey, props to you, like that you're taking it serious enough to go do it.
Yes.
So he's training with Darth Rigatoni. And I said, I'm just seeing all of my other hate comments, but I said, hey, huge props to Zuckerberg. He's fucking jillionaire. He could be doing anything with his life. And he's sitting here grinding day in and day out, trying to get his jiu-jitsu better so that he can compete. And like, I think he's even talking about potentially doing an MMA fight.
Yeah.
And then people were blasting me for that. Oh, you fucking idiot, blah, blah. I'm like, obviously you have never trained before, because if you don't respect someone who's training and putting in the work to be able to go out there and compete.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
now I am a little jealous of his financial situation.
Of course.
Where he could pay for the best of the best to train him and
fly them in.
But guess what? I'm so happy for him in the sense, like, I can't imagine, like you said, he could be out on his yacht touring the world.
Yeah.
He could be doing lots of drugs. He could be, no, he's working on improving himself.
Exactly.
Parts, right?
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? The minute I make more money, I am getting fat. I am eating the richest foods. I am doing nothing. I'm not doing the minimalist of manual labor. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This dude could do anything, and he's out there freaking grinding and doing it. So, yeah, okay. I found my thingy when I posted, but people were like, here's the first comment from, I'll say the name so that it's not me saying this, at Will Harpole. Fight Insight Podcast. This is the gayest comment I've read in a while. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you upset with that I'm saying that this guy is killing it and grinding?
And the fact that he called it gay of all things, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, what an idiot. But yeah. And then, it looks like some of the other people that gave me hate comments have deleted their comment now. Because then I responded to a few of them and I said, hey, what part do you not understand or agree with? You obviously don't train, that's clear, but go ahead, articulate your point, and then people fucking don't answer. But I don't know. Hey, Zuckerberg's out there. He's going to be competing.
You know what? I used to be good at manifesting stuff.
Yeah, manifest away.
I'm going to try to manifest that I get so good at some combat sport that I get to train with Zuck one day.
Can you imagine?
He tracks me down for a bare knuckle dribble.
Look, you fold immediately. You do not piss off our world leader.
Yeah. Another quick celeb that is like training with legit goats and stuff. Jake Paul's brother, Logan. Have you been seeing his posts?
No. Who's he training with?
Is he doing grappling, Hulk and stuff? And like,
that's right. Yes. Yeah.
And what I'll say is this: out of the two brothers, now I do think they're both probably on some type of friggin' gear, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
But like, Logan is built and fit.
Yeah.
And like, so if he goes out there and doesn't get popped for something, I think Logan could be a real threat in mixed martial arts.
No. Logan is never doing it. Logan is juiced to the gills.
All right.
If you're competing in WWE and doing that crazy stuff that they're doing, God bless you. Take all the illegal stuff you need to be able to perform at that level. What that dude is doing is insane. Yeah. Any wrestlers are crazy. Like,
I'm so happy to hear you say that. So many people smack about them.
No, these crazy. My very first foray into social media and stuff. I used to run a wrestling website for like 5-6 years. Yeah, I ran one, and yeah. So no, I love wrestling. Not so much now, but I definitely appreciate or can acknowledge what these people put themselves through. Like, it's insanity.
Yes.
And they compete at the highest stage and like in front of billions of people and are doing crazy things. No. Logan Paul, look, just inject away, my friend. Just keep giving us good matches and keep being like, the superstar you are. No, just go ahead. No, he'll never compete in a real thing or anything that is being tested. I will leave with this. Jenna Bishop. Yeah. She posted something which was funny. Is the ADCCs on now? Like the BJJ championships? I think they're coming up.
You know what? I get so confused because now
there's something.
There's like different. I know they're in Thailand and like they've expanded. Yeah. But yeah.
So something big is coming up, and she reshared something from, I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where she posted that although those competitions, they do not test for illegal steroids.
Yeah.
She when she last competed a couple years ago, she paid out of her own pocket to get tested and publicly shared her results that showed she was 100% clean. And the whole purpose was to show like, hey, I can compete at the highest level. I do not need to take anything. Regardless of what other people are doing. I'm still clean and I'm out here winning, which is very, very cool, man. So shout out to Jenna Bishop. She's so badass.
I respect the crap out of that. Especially, I think that's the biggest problem with the BJJ at the moment. You got people openly bragging about what they're taking that would never be allowed in other leagues or organizations or sports. Right. And then people bragging when they hate on some of these guys' accomplishments. They're like, oh, let's see you take what they take and win 5 championships in a row. It's like, like, do you hear yourself, right? Like,
No, people are insane. Well, this brings us to the end of our podcast. I've got people to fight with online, Braydbunch. I know you've got your training to do. You've got your open tryouts coming up. So good luck to you, kick ass. We'll be in contact anyways. Next week, Ringside Rain is on the podcast. We're very excited. And then from there on, who knows what we're doing. There's a BKFC fighter that just shouted me out. He's got his next fight lined up. He's a guy that I watched in London, and I've been keeping in contact with him. He just announced his next fight, and he tagged me in his video. So we are 100% getting him on the podcast. That guy's a cool dude. And Chazzy Boy is his name. That's it. This ends it for the audio podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll put up some videos here that you can click on that you may enjoy as well. This is episode 124. So we are at another quarter decade. No, I don't know how you say it. Another quarter century of episodes. Braydbunch, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Very last thing, actually. I just thought of. I don't know if celebrity boxing ever wants me to defend his belts, right? Yeah. But I think you heard Mark Coleman just is going to be fighting in October.
I saw the post.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I could get a fight maybe against Brittany Vaughn. I'll put my belt on the line and fucking...
On that same card?
I would love to.
Yeah,
right?
That'd be crazy. That's a good card.
So hopefully that happens because both Brittany and I would love to run it back actually for a belt. But that's it. Otherwise, Timmy, I hope you have an awesome week.
All right.
And fans, spread the word.
Yeah, go follow us. I haven't gained too many followers lately. So follow us. Braydbunch, thank you so much. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one. Come fight with me online.